Finist is the bravest and strongest warrior in the village of Bogatyr. His adventures begin with a wild chase after a magical pig, but soon he finds himself facing the monster's curses and even betrayal from those closest to him. This is the story of how one hero's search for glory leads him to discover the real meaning of strength and teamwork. Finist goes out on an adventure to hunt for a pig that has been destroying the barns of his villagers. Although he's unsure of what he's going to encounter, he's confident for having defeated many beasts in the past. Meleka, Finist's assistant, is accompanying him. Meleka tells Finist this is not an ordinary pig. It's a magical pig, and only the strongest can capture it. As both enter the forest, Meleka spots the pig, and he's afraid. The pig is large, more of a monster. At first, they think the pig is dead, but it's only sleeping.
Я это глядел у купцов заморских выменял.
Finist takes out his weapons and starts attacking the pig. As usual, he never leaves the beasts alive. Using all his strength, he hits the pig on the ribs using a spike club, but the pig doesn't feel anything. Finist hears that there's a giant magical pig ransacking the barns in Bogatyr. He's not afraid at all because he's defeated so many monsters in the past, but his assistant, Meleka, is concerned. Meleka says this pig is no ordinary pig. It's much larger and tougher than any animal they've ever encountered. They enter the woods and they find the sleeping pig. At first, Finist attempts to resist it using his club and sword, but nothing helps. The pig's hide is too tough and it doesn't feel the blows. Meleka tries and throws his bag into the pig's nose by mistake. That wakes the pig up and it goes wild. The pig runs loose and Finist finds himself in the lap of it. Meleka sees that Finist is in trouble
Finist.
and throws him a rope. Finist grabs the rope and somehow gets it around the pig's neck. It's not easy, but after much tugging and yelling, Finist manages to get the pig under control. He guides the pig back to the village, soaring through the sky. The whole of Bogatyr roots for him, calling him the Pig Destroyer. They all praise him, some even wanting to name their children after him for being so brave. Just when Finist is celebrating, Baba Yaga, the old witch and sorcerer who lives disguising herself in a young female body, arrives. She asks Finist for help. A great stone lies across the river, and if it is not removed, her special apples will wither and die. Finist doesn't want to do it. He thinks pushing a rock is hardly heroic work. He boasts about all the big things he's done. He has fought guard monsters of stone mountains. He also talks of how he killed the biggest sea monster that has been destroying the lakes for half a century. Finist has also prevented a werewolf from growling and destroying people, and dealt with a four-legged, six-armed, and two-headed spirit repeater. He has destroyed 1,000 troops on the White Lake. When the sorcerer Chernobrov dropped the sky to earth, he held him back and destroyed him. Comparing his great works to Baba Yaga's request, Finist refuses to help her because just lifting the stone isn't a heroic task. Rumors start to spread in Bogatyr about a deadly monster guarding a tall tower far away. Inside that tower, there's a beautiful girl who's been trapped for a long time. People say the monster is so scary that no hero has ever come back from fighting it. Some say it's a giant bloodsucker. Others say it's a snake, but no one really knows because nobody survives to tell the story. When Finist hears about this, he gets excited. He wants everyone to talk about his bravery, not just for catching pigs or moving stones.
Чё-то маловато тебе, кабан.
He wants the challenge that will make his name famous forever. At night, Finist gets ready for the journey. Meleka, his loyal assistant, tries to talk him out of it, saying this quest is too dangerous. But Finist is determined. He wants to be remembered as the greatest hero, so he tells Meleka to come with him. But deep down, he plans to face the monster alone. They sneak out while the village is quiet, walking through dark forests and crossing rivers. Meleka keeps looking around nervously, whispering about all these scary stories he's heard about the tower. When they reach the tower, it looks even scarier than the stories. The walls are covered in strange marks. Finist tells him to wait outside and not to follow him, saying he needs to do this by himself to prove he's the bravest. Meleka doesn't want to be left alone, but he stays behind, worried and hoping his friend will come back. The tower is dark and cold. Finist hears a soft voice singing. He follows the sound and finds a beautiful young woman named Zlata. She looks scared but hopeful when she sees Finist. He promises to save her, saying no monster can stop him. As he steps closer to help her, Zlata warns him not to touch her, but Finist doesn't listen. The moment his hand brushes against her arm, something terrible happens. Zlata disappears to hide herself from Finist, and the next moment Finist looks around. He sees a beast. The beast looks like a lion, but with a snake for a tail. This snake's mouth drips with venom, and the beast roars so loudly that the whole tower shakes. Finist jumps back shocked, but he doesn't run. He grabs his sword and tries to fight the monster, but the beast is too fast and too strong. Whenever Finist lands a blow, the monster is barely hurt. The tail of the snake whips back at him, spraying venom. Finist evades it, but the monster is cunning and corners him. The fight continues. Finist is doing everything he knows to defend himself and trying to kill it.
Значит, все-таки змеюка.
He's climbing the walls and swinging from the broken chains, and even using the tower's old furniture as shields. But the monster always seems to be a step ahead, and then the snake's tail spews a spray of venom straight into Finist's eyes. His world goes black, and he screams in pain. He breaks into the open with nothing but monster rumbles to guide him, and with cold stones sliding beneath his fingers. Blind or not, Finist still doesn't accept defeat. He uses his strength to seize the monster and smash it against a wall, but it is not sufficient. The beast breaks free and flees into the darkness. Finist is beyond himself. His sight is lost. He is desperate. He knows that he can't win like this. So, he puts everything into it, tries to grab hold of the main pillar of the tower, and hits it using his spiked club. The walls crack and the entire tower collapses. But the monster slithers up through a secret exit, and Finist is there alone among ruins. Heavy bricks fall on him, trapping him. He can't move, and all there is to hear is the settling of stones. Maleka, hearing the noise, rushes inside the tower and finds Finist buried under the fallen stones. With the help of some villagers who heard the commotion, they drag Finist out and carry him back to Belagorje. But the hero who left for glory now returns blind and broken. The people who once cheered for him now avoid his gaze. They don't celebrate his return. Instead, they whisper about how the mighty Finist has failed and lost his sight. Even the children who used to play being Finist now pretend not to see him. Finist sits alone, remembering the fight and feeling the weight of his pride and the pain of his loss. This is the lowest point for Finist. He wanted everyone to remember his name, but now nobody wants to talk about him.
Ну, отказала Ига.
Everyday tasks become a struggle for Finist. He can't fetch water from the well without stumbling and falling. Even finding his way home is difficult. Sometimes he gets lost and passes away until someone helps him. He can't live on his own and often goes without food. He splashes his clothes and the floor with food when he tries to eat. Maleka tries to assist. He takes food to Finist, helps him clean himself, and walks him through the village. But it's not easy since Maleka is the only person, and he tires. Finist needs everything done for him. He can't even walk. At times, Maleka feels as if he has lost his friend and is taking care of a stranger. He recalls the time when Finist was a strong, valiant man who led everyone with authority. Now, Finist is silent in a corner and hardly talks, his head down, all in his thoughts. Maleka thinks that perhaps Baba Yaga has a solution. He goes to her hut deep in the woods and begs for a cure for Finist's blindness.
Что ты как карга ведешь себя?
But Baba Yaga refuses. She tells Maleka that when she sought her hand in pulling the stone from the river, Finist refused. It was not a heroic assignment, but he would not help. Maleka begs, but Baba Yaga refuses, reminding him that Finist has to learn from his mistakes. Days pass, and Maleka becomes more and more agitated. He feels trapped, forever taking care of someone who seems to have no desire to keep living. Finist needs him for everything. Maleka begins begins to consider whether he should go elsewhere and have a new life. He doesn't want to live out his days in discontent with his friend deteriorating before his eyes. One morning, following another long night attending to Finist, Malika tells him that he can't continue doing this. He says goodbye and makes his way to a new life. Left alone, Finist's life only gets worse. He finds it hard to do anything. Since he can't see, he can't work to make a living and buy food.
Не к кому больше идти, Финист.
Once in a while, kind vendors throw some food at him, but for most of the days, everyone ignores him. The only way he can eat is by looking for leftovers on the street and rotten fruits at the dump site to feed on. He sits at the marketplace, remembering his heroic days. He hears merchants shouting about goods and foodstuffs they sell, but he can't access them. He admires the sound of children playing around, but can't see them. Other street children at the marketplace take advantage of his blindness and steal fruits from his basket. Everyone passes around him without greeting him. He's just another beggar on the street, unrecognizable by anyone. Even though Finist is suffering, he doesn't complain at all. He knows he's the one who has brought all this trouble upon himself. He remembers how he had been proud to people like Baba Yaga and how he turned her away when she needed his help. Now he realizes that heroism includes even the smallest acts of kindness. He wishes he could go back and make things right.
Что ж так темно кругом?
But it's too late. All he can do is survive each day. Finist also recalls how Malika once told him to marry one of the beautiful girls in the village, but he felt like he was a hero and could not engage with small girls. Had he married, his wife might have been attending to him in this time of need. Even his most trusted friend and assistant has also left him because he's becoming a burden to the community. With the fall of the greatest hero, the peace in Belagore doesn't last long. One night, Baba Yaga visits Finist as he's sitting on the streets and contemplating about his life. She doesn't take revenge or take advantage of someone who decided not to help her. Instead, she comes with some bread and fruits, then puts them in Finist's empty basket when no one else donates food to him. She talks to Finist, but before they finish their conversation, an arrow strikes the basket. Someone is trying to kill Finist. Baba Yaga tries to run away, but she gets captured. Barbarians are attacking their village. Finist has lost his eyesight, but still has some strength left in him. He fights the barbarians, defeating a few of them even though they're armed. However, he fights aimlessly because he can't see the enemy. Some of the households are set on fire, and the strongest men in the village are captured. One of the captors hits him on the head, and he passes out. Finist is tied in chains among other men in the village. Some of the women are also taken into captivity. Barbarians are known for participating in slave trade. They capture people and trade them for money overseas to other nations, especially in the eastern countries. The barbarians march the captives onto a large ship moored along the river. Finist bears the heaviest chains, for the barbarians have heard tales of his strength. They don't want to leave anything to chance, even though he's blind. The ship is packed and everyone is frightened.
Чё была мошка? Ну плывем куда-то, ну чё?
2 days go by and the prisoners have not been fed. Malika, who already left Finist, hears about what happened and feels guilty. He ultimately decides he can't leave his friend. He goes to the river at night and bribes the ship's guards with all that he has left, pleading them to let him go see Finist and Baba Yaga. The guards let him board briefly. Malika has brought along some bananas and sneaks them to Finist and Baba Yaga to eat and give them strength. Malika has also carried an odd old lamp that he bought from a passing peddler. When he begins to rub it, a black and evil-looking spirit flows out of it and flies around like a shadowy monster. The spirit grants wish, but it's wild and dangerous. The soldiers on the ship freak out and try to fight it, but the spirit waves a couple of them to the ground with a wash of smoky arms. Even though he is blind, Finist hears the uproar and gets up. In his struggle against the spirit, Malika yells at the evil spirit monster to leave them alone.
Я молю тебя, сгинь обратно.
And it returns into the lamp. The master of the ship, having seen the magic of the lamp, takes it from Malika. He intends to sell it for a lot of money, hoping to get rich from its magic. The prisoners are led very far from home. The ship goes east, towards strange lands and new cities. When they come to the east lands, the captives are taken off the ship and stood upright in the hot sun. Traders visit them, inspecting their muscles and teeth. Finist is shackled, and everyone whispers to each other what the notorious this Belagori hero has become, the helpless blind man. The villagers are all sold into slavery, one after another. Some are used for labor in fields, and others become slaves in rich houses. Anarif, a rich man from the east and a famous scientist, arrives at the slave market to find new aids for himself. The other buyers are not like him. Rather than purchasing individuals for backbreaking work, Anarif seeks individuals who might lend him a hand with his inventions.
Нет, нас, видать, тоже.
Distinct from the others, Baba Yaga catches his eye, and he decides to buy her first. Meleka pleads with Anarif to purchase himself and Finist, so he won't be separated from his friends. Both promise they're strong and clever, and Anarif decides to take them all home to his desert. And when they pull up to Anarif's mansion, it's nothing like the others they've seen. The house itself is full of awesome inventions. Robotic baby turtles zip around with plates of food and keep the floor clean. Even some turtles serve tea and supply towels. Anarif says he builds things that nobody else in the world has ever seen, using mechanics, optics, and chemistry. The three of them are not prisoners to Anarif, unlike other slave owners. He tells them they can move around if they want to, eat as much as they can, and sleep. He promises to free them when their work is done. Anarif thinks any problem can be solved with science, and that magic should be avoided. Magic makes people lazy and dependent.
Но я выкупаю рабов и отпускаю домой.
But his inventions are to help everyone lead better lives. Anarif's most amazing creation is a machine that sucks the magical powers out of beasts and transforms them into a powerful elixir. He finds magical animals from all around the world, traps them, and uses their magic to create special potions. These potions can heal wounds, make people stronger, and even preserve someone in youth for eternity. Anarif is proud of his work and shows it off to his new guests. He insists that with enough science, he can get rid of the magic in the world. Inside the mansion, Finist and his friends encounter Jamal, a talking donkey with a hump. Jamal says he was once a man until a horrible magician transformed him into a donkey with a hump. Finist is yet to regain his sight from the monster fight, so finding his way around is a problem.
Результат моих многолетних исследований.
Anarif pities him and agrees to assist. Using his expertise in optics, he constructs a unique device, the Falcon's Eye. It's a mechanical device that goes over Finist's eyes and allows him to see. He's so grateful that he vows to get Anarif anything he requests. Anarif informs the group that there is one more creature he's looking for, the lion-like beast with a snake-like tail, the same beast that blinded Finist. He says that its capture will provide enough power to complete his ultimate invention. Finist is grateful to Anarif for restoring his sight. He throws his lot in with them and agrees to help them catch the monster. Baba Yaga is interested too, since Anarif has promised her an elixir which will keep her perpetually youthful. She's been disguising herself in a young body for decades and using her own magic to deceive people, but she wants something permanent. As Anarif gears up for the hunt, he demonstrates to the hunters his latest creation,
Человек с интеллектом способен на чудеса.
which is a flying machine. It looks like an outsized metal and wood ball with flapping propellers and roaring engines. He also improves Finist's weapons and adds new features that make them more powerful and functional. Jamal, eager to participate, volunteers as their guide. Now everything is prepared, and the group heads out over the desert, across mountains and rivers, seeking the beast that brought all the agony. Along the way, Finist begins to realize that science and magic aren't so different. Both can be instruments of good or evil, depending on who's controlling them. As for Baba Yaga, she's wondering whether staying young forever is the solution, or whether she has to find her true purpose in life. The group reaches the location where the monster has just feasted on an animal. Finist prepares his traps and devices as he waits to capture the beast.
Механика.
With a new and improved weapon, Finist is expecting the biggest battle of his life. Jamal and Meleka wait in readiness to assist, while Baba Yaga looks on, eager to receive the elixir that will keep her youthful. Together, they wait for the monster. Finist, Jamal, Meleka, and Baba Yaga arrive at the monster's cave. The cave is dark and damp, and wherever you are, there is an echo of everything. Deep inside, the beast waits. It's enormous. The body of a lion and a snake for a tail, same as before. Finist fights valiantly, avoiding the venomous tail, but the beast is too strong. It knocks Finist over and drives him down to the ground. He struggles in vain, but the beast overcomes him, runs out of the cave, and roars once again to the open. Jamal, Meleka, and Baba Yaga are outside waiting with a special trap that Anarif prepared for them. As the monster rushes out, they pull the lever.
Механика!
The trap slams shut around the creature. Finist wants to end the fight and kill the beast, but Meleka reminds Finist that Anarif wants the beast alive for his experiments. Therefore, they bind up the trap and start making their way to Anarif. They choose to get some sleep before continuing. They camp and everyone quickly goes to sleep, but Finist can't sleep. A gentle, lovely voice sings to him in the dark, emerging from the trap. This voice sounds familiar to him because he heard it once in the tower, where the beast spit venom into his eyes and blinded him. To his surprise, the creature within the trap is Zlata, the lovely woman he once attempted to rescue. Zlata glances up at Finist with mournful eyes. She opens up to him about her curse. Any man who touches her because of her beauty makes her transform into a bloodthirsty beast. This is why she's been staying out in towers and caves, far from people. Finist is sorry for her and wants to save her.
Он мне взор вернул и тебе поможет.
But Meleka and Baba Yaga wake up and have seen what is happening. Baba Yaga recalls that Anarif assured her he would give her an elixir that would make her young forever in exchange for her bringing the beast back to him. She knows this is her only shot. She quickly locks Finist and Zlata together in the same cage. Finist feels betrayed by his friends. He believed in them, but now he's stuck with Zlata just because he wants to set Zlata free. Baba Yaga, Jamal, and Meleka drag the heavy trap and head towards Anarif's mansion. Upon their arrival, Meleka and Baba Yaga stealthily track Anarif to his secret chamber to see what he's really doing with all of the magical portions from the beasts. In the chamber, they find Anarif's true secret. He's been gathering magical powers from each beast and using them to power his army of robotic turtles. He's been lying to people all this time,
На дом освещает.
saying everything he makes runs on science, but it's actually magic that makes everything functional. Meleka and Baba Yaga are surprised. They realize Anarif is far more dangerous than they had known. Anarif realizes someone is observing him. He looks around and sees Meleka and Baba Yaga. He decides that he can't let them go alive and expose his secret. Anarif summons the huge robot turtle and sends it after them. Baba Yaga and Meleka hurry to the trap and free Finist and Zlata from the cage. But the minute Finist touches Zlata's hand, she transforms into a beast and fights Anarif's soldiers. Anarif is furious. He pursues them. Then Baba Yaga uses her witch magic to make watermelons fall from the sky, incapacitating some of Anarif's men. It dawns on Anarif. If the group escapes, they will tell the world about his evil plans. He decides they must be killed at any cost.
Кто узнает мою тайну?
He summons his biggest robot turtle, stuffs the amount of the elixir he has inside it, and releases it to run after them. The group flees to the mountains, the giant turtle following closely. Finist, Zlata in monstrous form, Meleka, and Baba Yaga all team up to battle against the robot. Finist tries to pull on Turtle's legs using his strength, while Zlata stalks it with her claws and teeth. Unfortunately, the falcon's eye falls off Finist's head, and he loses his sight. But he doesn't give up. Blind, he seizes the turtle, and pulling as hard as he can, he falls to the ground with the turtle. Anarif follows them in his oversized robotic turtle. Anarif bombs the group with some turtle bombs. One of the bombs goes off right next to Finist, but he escapes unscratched. With Anarif on their trail, the three of them take the road towards the mountains. They know the cumbersome robotic turtle has difficulty climbing steep terrain.
Может, его мысля была нас кормить да дёру дать?
This knowledge may give them an edge, but as the chase goes on, the elixir that fuels Anarif's robotic turtle is running low. Anarif solves this by extending from his machine a long suction device that he uses to drain off a portion of Zlata's magical powers. This enables the turtle to be energized again, so Anarif can follow. Finist helps Zlata by pushing her aside from the sucker to prevent Anarif from drawing all her powers. Anarif then attempts to strike directly at Finist, while Finist is trying to stop the robot. Even though Finist is still blind, he is able to evade Anarif's strikes. As the fight progresses, Zlata becomes her beast self and breaks out of the mountain's side. She kicks the robotic turtle from above, using her strength to press it to one side, and Finist pulls on it from below. Together, they successfully take down the giant turtle robot. The large robot falls to the ground and explodes, dismantling Anarif's chase and saving the group from harm.
Что с тобой, красавица?
It is almost smashing Finist into the ground as he faints from fatigue. Anarif attempts to suck away the magic from Finist and Zlata to make himself the most powerful being in the world. But as he's about to do so, the giant turtle explodes, and all the elixir is lost. A portion of the magical liquid falls to the ground and transforms into a black, lava-like mud that covers Anarif and his experiments. Anarif's dreams are ruined. He wished to rob the abilities of every magical beast and conquer the world, but now he's an empty man. Zlata flees back into the wilderness, still in her beast form, vanishing into the mountains. Finist comes, wakes up from fainting. It surprises him that he can see again, despite not having the falcon's eye. Baba Yaga runs to the shattered remains of the robotic turtle in the wake of the explosion, checking if she can find the missing elixir that she intended to grant her immortality. She looks through the remains, but she can't find even a single drop of the elixir. She carries a sense of defeat and desperation, having looked and found nothing. Empty-handed, the party resolves to go back to their village. Baba Yaga is unlucky as everything turns into its original form. She retains her old-age ugly witch form as her young body vanishes. The villagers have been welcoming them back with great joy on their return. They applaud Finist's bravery and safe return, shouting and singing of his greatness. There's more to being a hero than being strong or renowned. It's also about being humble, being kind, and helping others, even in the smallest ways. And sometimes the greatest wins are about accepting help and showing compassion, not just winning fights.